I'm Andrea Kennedy, and I am a Tech Teach 2+1 survivor. I'm a homeless, unemployed, penniless, vehicleless wanderer with 2 kids, leaving domestic abuse behind, to becoming a highly qualified educator filled with passion and hope. This is my story. My 1-year journey to becoming a marketable educator, remembering my why, kept me going. This is Caleb and Sarah. These are my children. When did you start to feel like a teacher? I felt like a teacher from the beginning because of youth ministry at church and having been a homeschool educator for many years. But transitioning to a public school teacher has been a challenge. Youth ministry and homeschooling were all about engagement. The NIET rubric was new to me. Instruction had been more of an organic, relational process, and I wrestled to adapt the necessary structure of institutionalized education and the rigor of the NIET rubric. With large class sizes and fewer instructional hours, I had to learn best practices. But adapting was not without a struggle. And in the beginning, I felt like this cat. What I had to learn, I had everything to learn. PA1, my GLOW was standards and objectives that I displayed and referenced throughout my lesson, but my GROW was my activities and my materials were not aligned as well as they could have been with my standard and objectives, especially my UDO and my assessment. My overall feeling, I felt really good about my first PA, although I got a little lost near the end after I released students to do the UDO. My assessment activity was poorly aligned, but I was growing. The NIET rubric connections. Well, first of all, I needed to print the rubric out in bigger print so I could actually read it. And rubric before Pinterest. Plan lesson from beginning to end with the NIET rubric. And the beautiful thing is that, although in the beginning I felt like I was trying to be put in a box, actually I was able to make sense out of it and realize that just everything to do with NIT rubric and growing those best practices was for student success, for student confidence, for helping my students grow. So once I finally made all of those connections, I made peace with the rubric. My PA1 and PA4 comparison, like I said, I got lost after my interactive read aloud and my UD was not aligned very well. My SAC chart confounded me and I had no clue how to make an assessment. Homeschooling, you just try again the next day. You just keep trying and you have all the time in the world. So the whole assessment thing really was hard for me to grasp. In PA4, I finally figured out how to plan a lesson and stick to it. I grew in every area. The SAC was still a challenge. When my pre-assessment was too easy for my students, I made a harder post-assessment, and so my results were not very reliable. PA4, my GLOW was activities and materials, yay! I had a creative opening, collaborative group work, everything was aligned. But my GROW was in questioning. I could have had more higher order thinking questions and I could have done more to check understanding from my process, what did you see me do, to do you understand, so now what are we going to be doing? So I had in a previous PA done actually very well in questioning, but PA4, not so much. So overall, my overall feeling, I was really excited at first because I finally figured out instructional planning and I felt like I had grown in every area, and the refinement I chose was S&O because I had not reviewed my standard and objective at the end, so I started running out of time. But when I found out that I had failed PA4, I felt like a plowed field. Failing PA4 was my downward spiral into a very dark place. But, as Albert Einstein said, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. And I certainly had been trying a lot of new things. And I found my growth mindset, and I dried my tears, and I climbed back up. What I've learned about myself this year: I can cry a lot when I get frustrated. And hashtag get uncomfortable almost killed me, but it didn't. I wasn't as good of a communicator as I had thought I was, and I really didn't have the growth mindset I needed. I still had a lot of healing to do from my past, and it was prior trauma that made me feel like I didn't belong or made it so painful to ask for help. It wasn't reality. I learned where I was still stuck, and I got unstuck. And the NIET rubric, I learned that it is a gold mine that I will reference and treasure. It isn't an undesirable cage to me anymore. It's the vehicle to excellence in teaching. So see the little happy cat there. Biggest impact. It's really actually very hard to say what my biggest impact was because this program is so cohesive, it all works together. But my biggest impact probably first was typing the rubric in a large enough font that I could take it more seriously and reference it often. I made a page for each indicator and in a notebook. So teaching in small groups was really, really what I needed because it provided structure and pacing that I was very weak in. And my walkthrough feedback, my pre and post conferences, Mr. Richardson spent so much time with me. He was so generous with his time, and that really helped me a lot. My mentor feedback, and also watching my mentor and learning from her, my mentors, I've had 3, and the students' errors and aha moments. I would say that's, along with the NIET rubric, that the actual teaching is the best part of this program because you can't really learn student misconceptions in a book. You learn them as you see them. And so that was really amazing for me. And I have a whole stack of books on differentiation that I'm planning to read, but in action, in small group action, teaching the same concept 8 different times in a day and seeing the different errors that the kids had and beginning to see, oh, that the same error is happening in every group. That just was huge for me. And all the aha moments were so precious. And the aha moments that were guided by questioning and self-discovery, not by me telling them, okay, well, this is what you did wrong. That was huge for me too, because I think that was a huge area that I needed to grow in, was not telling them, but helping guide them to discover for themselves. And it was magical. It's just magical to watch that aha. And sometimes in our small group math, we would just start laughing when they would realize the mistake that they had made, and we would just all laugh. They would laugh, and then we would laugh, and I would just say, "Isn't math fun?" And it was really fun. So of course, cluster meetings help too, although I do confess I really resented them because we were so busy, but they did help. They did help a lot, actually. I did not want to admit that, but I will. And of course, the NIET rubric. Yay, rubric! My highest point this year was my interview at West Creek Elementary. As I bubbled over with enthusiasm and passion for teaching, I realized I really had learned a lot in this program, and I was ready. I was ready to teach. I'm taking with me into the classroom my experiences teaching in small groups. I want to have small groups for ELAR and also for math, and also that I want to continue to use questioning to help guide student discovery. My immediate goal is to excel as a first-year teacher by growing, continuous growth. I expect to review the NIET rubric weekly. I want to keep reading great books, like I want to finish Making Thinking Visible and Change Just One Thing on student-generated questions. I want to network with my colleagues and improve communication skills. I want to be very intentional to grow in that area. And then I want to take professional developments. I'm actually signed up for 3 right now on technology, guided math groups, and small groups, and the 40-hour teacher work week. because I need all the help I can get with organization, and also to use data to inform instruction. My 5-year goal is to complete my master's in, I don't know, I'm going to take some time to enjoy teaching and see where my passion leads me. When I first began, I really just wanted to go into counseling, but I wanted a more marketable degree. And so I thought, well, I'll get a teaching degree and then I'll go get a master's in counseling. But at this point, I'm in love with teaching. So we'll see where I go from here. But someday, I'd like to teach literacy in interesting and far off places. And my education equips me, get excited about this, to become a tent making missionary. And I'd like to work in the 1040 window at some point when my kids are all grown and don't need me so much anymore. So I want to just give a special thanks to my site coordinator, Michael Richardson. You are very generous with your time. My mentor teachers, Angelina Garcia, Rachel Hembley, and Michelle Watson. Texas Tech University professors, I wish I could name you all. Scholarship donors, I don't even know your names, but you made this possible for me. Dr. Zina Munoz, you were so encouraging. Celinda Kumbi, you were a nurturing touch that we needed. And all my fellow TCs who helped me stay on track and didn't let me give up, even when I felt like giving up. So I just full of gratitude and really grateful to have made it through this program and to be starting this new part of my life, teaching as a first grade teacher. Thank you.